delighted to welcome back to Totally Music Ollie Hayes, who's here to chat about his new Christmas EP. Ollie, it's great to have you back. How have you been?
I've been very, very well. It's great to be back
Good to have
here on your new website.
you.
Yeah.
So you've just released your Christmas EP. Would you like to tell us about it?
Yes, I have just released my Christmas EP. Yeah, it's just a bunch of songs that I had kind of lying around or in some kind of state, and I put them together and I created my EP from them.
So what made you want to write a Christmas EP?
Well, I didn't know it was an EP until it was an EP. I know that sounds stupid, but it's true. I tried to write a Christmas song in 2020 when it was like all when it was at Christmas and it felt Christmassy, and I was writing about Christmas things in the thought that I would release it the following Christmas, so last Christmas.
Okay.
And the song just wasn't great, so I never did. But then I set myself the same challenge last Christmas. Like, I feel Christmassy, it's a Christmassy time, let's write a Christmas song. So I wrote Here Comes Christmas in some iteration. I think there's a video of me doing it on my phone. And yeah, so then I had like this song and I thought, cool, I'll release that next Christmas. And then in January, I went away with Chasing Deer for like 2 weeks, and we wrote lots of songs, and it was a really, really good experience. And then I came back and felt a bit like drained creatively, because we got a lot of stuff done in those 2 weeks. And I kind of was like, I feel I need to write something to just kind of like ease my way back into it, because we've been so creative. It's like, why can't I be that creative all the time? So I just kind of picked up the guitar, started playing, and then Doesn't Feel Like Christmas kind of appeared. And I'm really grateful to that song for lots of reasons, but that kind of got me back into the flow of writing again, and like post the Chasing Deer sessions and stuff. And yeah, it was a good challenge, because there were lots of different, like, I wanted to say so much in one song, and it's actually quite a short song as well. So there was lots of like editing lyrics, changing this and stuff. There used to be like a lyric in there about fly tipping and your Christmas tree after Christmas, and that just, I couldn't make that fit, but that was kind of what it was for a long time. And yeah, so that song kind of then existed. So then I had two, so I was like, okay, I can release two. And then I was on my hard drive of like old songs, and I found a song called In the Snow, which I'd had for a long, long time. And I was never really happy with how that came out. So I kind of set myself a challenge to complete it as I would do it now. So yeah, it was kind of like a production thing, because the song was already written. So it's really testing my production and stuff. And I was quite happy with the words of the songs and the melodies and stuff, but it was just never produced well. So I was really proud of that from a production point of view, because it was like, this is where I started. This is how far I've come producing wise. And so that was a big moment. And then I had like 3 songs, and I was like, okay, I've got an EP-ish. I always feel like an EP needs to have like 4 songs on it, like minimum. So I set about making a 4th, and I kind of wrote like challenges, like songs, because that's how I'd really done. Doesn't Feel Like Christmas was a challenge. The first one was a challenge. That In the Snow, Here Comes Christmas was a challenge. In the Snow was a challenge in a different way. So I wrote down, I want to write a Disney song. Now, years ago, I actually wrote a song for a pantomime, an original song for this pantomime. It was called I Do. I don't know how good it was, really, but I tried to make that Disney-y.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was like in the right vein, but just never really fulfilled that kind of Disney thing that's in my head. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write one that's like Disney and blah blah blah. So that was what Hole in My Heart became. And it was very much, I sat down at the piano, found the chords that worked, and then that was it. It wasn't very long to get the song finished. The thing that took the time on that was working out how to make it grow in the right way and then shrink again and stuff. And so then I had four, and then my next thing on my little like challenges was like a rock and roll song. I really like rock and roll music. I've just never really kind of felt the things I'd created really fit with what my other catalog is like, and it was like it always felt a bit dated when I tried to do it. It never felt genuine, if that makes sense. It felt a bit cliche. But because it's Christmas, I thought, okay, you can get away with that. So then I had like rock and roll song, make it. I had the thing done, I think, in an afternoon. It wasn't very, as I'm sure you can tell by, some of the lyrics in it. It didn't take very long, but that was part of the joy of it. It was like, get it down. It's something that you can dance to, because really the rest of the record is very up and down, and there's a lot of the piano stuff. It's not really dancey. So I had this one that was kind of more in the, I don't know, 70s kind of Christmas song vein, I think. So yeah, that's a long way of saying that's why I made it, to challenge myself.
So what are each of the songs about?
Oh, well, I used to go like the minute detail about what the songs were about, and I found I know what they mean to me. I always find, like, if I say it, sometimes it colors what other people think of them, but I can tell you where they came from.
Okay.
So uh Here Comes Christmas was like a song that ticked all of the cliche boxes.
Yeah.
So the snow thing in it, like Here Comes Christmas, really easy to sing along and stuff. And then the thing that I liked about it was, which is something that the Coldplay Christmas song, I loved that when that came out. It's got a funny like time signature. It has like bars of like a couple of random bars of like sixes, and then the end, like it has like that, and the snow just keeps on falling.
Yeah.
That's like I think that's 5 beats to a bar. So that was kind of not really what it's about, but that was what kind of drove that song. It was like ticking all the boxes. Then Doesn't Feel Like Christmas was actually me trying to do an impression of myself. So Doesn't Feel Like Christmas was me trying to write a Christmas song that would have fit with the songs that I had on my album, The Dream.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why it's my one of the ones I'm more proud of on it, because I feel like I'm saying exactly what I want to say, and it really means something to me, that song, because I think, like, obviously the message of it and everything, like the magic does change, and I think why I am like proud of it is more like the observations that I make are like, I think nothing's too obscure.
Yeah.
But it's, everyone would know, but like, so that's that one. Then Hole in My Heart, I'm saying this on this interview like a month in advance. I don't know what the order is yet. Hole in My Heart, that was kind of, like I say, Disney thing, but that was really about like the first Christmas, if you've been with someone for a while, and then you have that first Christmas on your own, and all of the like the things you would do if you're with someone, you then have to like fill those gaps. So that's kind of what it's about. Like seeing your mates, or it's my song, I can't remember the lyrics, but there's a line about seeing your sixth form mates, and there's a line about like kind of staying the same person that you were the last Christmas in case you want to come back and stuff. And that's kind of what that's about. In the Snow was inspired by, you know, that bit in Love Actually where he goes to the door, says like, say that it's carol singers, and he does all the cards and then he walks off, and that's what that was inspired by, that part of the movie. Obviously it's not like literally, but that, like, that idea of kind of pouring your heart out because it's Christmas, which they say all the time in that film. I mean, you may as well, it's Christmas. So that's what In the Snow's about. And Boxing Day Blues was a title before it was a song.
Okay.
It was really just like, not trying to be too clever or anything, but it's like, if you get dumped, and then like, what do you do on Boxing Day? So like, what does anyone do on Boxing Day anyway? I always find that an odd day, but I thought that day needs a day song. A song about that day needs to be here. So I will rise to that challenge. But yeah, all the stuff within the songs means something to me. Nothing's like completely throwaway. I know where every line comes from, but I think maybe that takes away some of the magic of it. Yeah.
So what's your favourite song and why?
Hole in My Heart, I think. Because I know I'm saying this a lot, that EP was like a challenge to myself, but the production I was really proud of. The words I feel are like not too simple, but not as complex as some of the other stuff I've done. So it's like that perfect kind of universal truthy thing, or what I feel is that, and Doesn't Feel Like Christmas, I think are the two that I'm like most proud of on it.
I absolutely love Hole in My Heart. It really did.
Oh, and thank you. Like I say, it's the song means a lot, that one. So
yeah, I think that has to be my favorite as well, off the five.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
So which song was the hardest to write?
See, that's a tricky one, because if I'm honest, none of them. Only because it's like it's called A Busman's Holiday, where you kind of still do something that you do on holiday even though you're on holiday. So it's something like that anyway. But all of the songs were like that. So it was like, okay, how do I write a Christmas song? How do I write a Christmas song that sounds like me? How do I, like, it was never really like, they were all exercises. And then that was a lesson. If I'm honest, that is something I learned from working with Chasing Deer, really, is like, they have to begin as something, otherwise you can't edit them. And like, all of them were more get something down and then edit it. And you find the meaning in it every time. Like, you find, or at least that's how I do it. I have to find a meaning in what I'm saying. Otherwise I really struggle to connect with it. So I'm sorry, I've completely forgotten the question. But
The hardest song.
sorry. But if I think what I just said was relevant to the question.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was. Okay, yeah. Good.
So what was the biggest challenge with the writing process?
Like, learning how to do it all. So like, they were all based on observations, whether that was lyrically or production wise. They were all like, Christmas one, it needs to sound like a cliche Christmas song. Doesn't feel like Christmas is kind of like almost an anti-Christmas song,
Yeah.
which is why I think it's kind of cool that it's like a country band,
Yeah.
which for me, obviously I'm in England. For me, the idea of having Christmas in a like hot place
Yeah.
is like a bit alien to me.
Yeah.
So that kind of country thing's a bit anti it. The one that I would say probably was the hardest now thinking about it was In the Snow.
Okay.
Even though I had the song, it's like one of those what do you call them? It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
So I had all the parts and I knew where I needed it to get to, but it was like there's this great big chunk in the middle between this stuff that actually works and this stuff that where I'm trying to get to. And
Yeah.
so I think that was probably the hardest. And it did take a lot longer than maybe I'm now pretending it did. I think In the Snow did take like a couple of weeks of, oh, I'll leave it. Oh, it's too difficult. Oh, I need to come back to it. And then really putting myself under pressure of like going into the studio to like properly make it made me like get it going. But yeah, so probably In the Snow actually, thinking about it.
And how did you come up with the artwork?
How did I come up with the artwork? So as you haven't seen it yet, I know, but at the point of this coming out, there is a video for Doesn't Feel Like Christmas, and the artwork for both of them is for the Doesn't Feel Like Christmas single and the whole EP, which doesn't have a name as of this interview, was done on the set of that video, because mainly because I really struggled with finding any, like, when I did my album, I found like Fallen View had a very strong visual identity in my head, and a song called Online had a really strong visual identity. And then I did like another song with a friend of mine called Joker, and that had a really strong identity in my head as well. And I just had, because obviously I've had these songs since like June finished. I was waiting, not like sat there doing nothing about it, but like I was waiting for something to really grab me about it, and nothing really was like, I wasn't in my head like, oh, that's the artwork at any point. So we kind of got onto the set and did the music video. I was like, I've got to have some kind of artwork. So and the way that we like set the video, the way we did the set of the video, I was like, I think this would make a good album cover. Let's just shoot this. And that was what it was. It was really not anything more than that. It was not particularly thought about in that way. But it also, now looking at it, feels like that was right. It should have always been that kind of thing. So yeah.
That's good. So what memories will you take away from the creation of the EP?
Oh, loads of memories, loads of memories. Each of them were like a little bit further apart from each other. So the first one, Here Comes Christmas. I have the video. I remember the feeling of walking around trying to think of the lyrics and like working it out and kind of going, hey, I've got a Christmas song. Then Doesn't Feel Like Christmas. I will remember the video shoot. That was just amazing. I loved that. And really, that video shoot was a real pain. Like, there was a lot of things that went wrong. And I'm a very unorganized person. But I had these songs so far in advance. I thought, I am on top of the world. I am unorganized, yet I have plenty of time to organize every single thing. And then like everything kind of went wrong just before we were supposed to shoot it. And but it still worked, and it was really, really good fun. I properly enjoyed that like the evening we shot it. So that's probably Doesn't Feel Like Christmas. Hole in My Heart and In the Snow. that's also a similar feeling, like video wise. Boxing Day Blues was like, I just remember it being hot the whole time I was doing that song and feeling like this is crazy. This is like, I think it was late May.
Yeah.
I think I'd actually been to Cornwall for like 2 weeks and managed to get sunburn, uh, and like really bad sunburn. I'm very good with the sun, but I got caught by surprise a bit with it. And I remember, I remember. I mean, this might sound a bit disgusting, but I remember recording the guitars in while having like after sun falling into my eyes from my forehead and stuff. So that's probably the prevailing memory from that one. But the whole thing has been like a joy, and also a bit of a curse in a funny way, because I had everything so prepared, like that was the next thing, and it's kind of put me in a bit of a like interesting headspace of like, well, what do you do next? Like, what is next? Because I had a whole different plan lined up instead of a second EP, and then I've had like lots of different things that were like, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that, that haven't happened. And now having like putting out 5 songs kind of feels like, oh wow, I can kind of rest on that for a bit. But it's not like that, because as of December 20 for this, really, as of December the 26th,
yeah,
that's it. It's kind of done,
yeah,
till next year to promote. Like, so it's a bit of an odd one. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, really, but it's been good fun, and I feel I've advanced through doing it as a writer, as a producer, as an artist as well, because like I'm terrified the thought of playing live, and that is something that
you shouldn't be.
it's great. I know, but even from my point of view, that feels weird, because I loved playing live in the half eight, and I like playing live when I've done like the occasional gig here and there since. But to actually do something that's like your name's on the top of the thing and you've got to keep people entertained, like it's really, really scary. But in like the ethos of the EP, it's a challenge. So in that way, I'm very grateful to it, because I feel like it's kickstarted a lot of things within me.
Yeah.
To be like, you got to do it. You got to do this. You can do that. That means you can do that. So yeah, I think that answers the question.
So finally, what's next for you?
So what's next is kind of being more regular with releases.
Okay.
And I've because of the time between the dream and putting out this record, I've had a lot of like time for experimentation. There's been lots of there's been like an album pretty much shelved. So that will be coming out, but I'm going to be doing regular things, and I've kind of got this like umbrella, in the same way that I did the Christmas thing. It's like just write,
yeah,
and then pick from like the tree essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm calling it like sketches for now. The title is sketches,
yeah,
and there's going to be lots of different like kind of songs, and it's room to experiment. But across the whole thing, they will have an identity.
okay.
So in theory, loads of stuff will be released. In practicality, we'll wait and see. But yeah, all of the next stuff is like lined up. It's just when the line starts, essentially.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad. So am I. I want to see if it happens or not.
Okay, so a huge thank you, Ollie, for joining me on Totally Music, and congratulations on the release of your Christmas EP. If anyone would like to check out Ollie's music, I'll leave all the links in the description below for you. But thanks very much, Ollie.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. I love coming and doing these things, and yeah, can't wait to come see you for the next one.
Another drink to